Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Shri Iyer. We are bringing this in two formats. Portrait mode, which is very useful if you are going to watch the program on a cell phone, and landscape mode if you are watching it on television. And if you are happening to be on the wrong thing, you just need to log out of that program, go to youtube.com, search on PGurus, and you'll see the other program streaming and you can watch it there. Just wanted to clarify this. We have been trying this for a few days. We got it all right now, we think. Now let's welcome our guest of the evening, Kaartik Gor. Kartik ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaste, P. Guruji, and Jai Shri Ram to your viewers.
Om Namah Shivaya, sir. Kartik ji, you have been warning our viewers that since the 2024, oath taking ceremony, that India is going to see through challenges, and we are seeing this. We're continuing to see it. One thing I'm trying to wrap my head around: how much of this stuff that we are seeing now, doctors are doing this, and engineers are getting involved in this. I mean, are these people completely incapable of common sense?
Which people you are saying? Yeah, I think actually we lack common sense because we are not able to read the writing on the wall. Let me be very
Yes.
blunt. So see, we have been talking it offline, online, and you have always been, and I've been very clear in my speaking, both offline and online, because I don't speak from two mouths, right? And I've been telling this regularly that guys, please wake up, address the elephant in the room as it is, and deal with it in the language it understands. And I've not been talking this as a motivational speaker. I've been talking this as a Raj Jyotishi, because I, right from Modi swearing in chart, I have been saying this very clearly that Modi ji, whether you like or you don't like, you will have to fight a war, right? And then on top of it, we have been talking about this good boy image, and we have been talking about that the so-called operational brilliance of Operation Sindoor. And I was the odd one out. I knew I'll face a lot of backlash, but I stuck my neck out and said the truth as it is, that guys, what is it that you are so impressed about? The non-escalatory war, burying your enemy alive, where it would definitely come out. I'll tell you a simple thing. I was in Jaipur for one of the conference, and there I was with one of the army people, and I was telling him that, means, what do you feel about Operation Sindoor? And he was saying, Kartik ji, no, मतलब ऐसी उनके पड़ी है, minimum 5 years, 10 years, they are not going to even dare do anything. And I told him,
5 months.
yeah, and I told him, sir, I don't have knowledge that you have, but whatever little brain Mahadev has given, whatever little knowledge that my Gurudev has taught, even if you can keep Asim Munir quiet for 5 months, I would say it was a brilliant operation. And he said that, let's see. I said, sir, but let's see. And he, I need to commend him that, after the operation happened, he messaged me and he said that you win. I said that it's not about me or you winning or losing. At the end of the day, India loses, right? And there's no fun. I would rather lose out my prediction if India wins, rather than any way out, right? I would have loved if Operation Sindoor was timed better, or shall we say that because it was timed, when Jupiter was so well placed in Pakistan chart, and yet Pakistan would have lost the narrative battle and not have got the funds. Asim Munir would have not become the field marshal, and this would not have happened. Let me take the viewers back a little, because I remember that, when the Bangladesh problem was happening, which was around 3 to 6 months before Pelgam even happened. And at that point of time, Shriji, I had said very clearly that, if India misses out in fixing Bangladesh, we will see a lot more problems in our borders, because some emails are written for people on CC and not to the people it is addressed to. And and people who understand what I'm talking about, that operation or some element of fixing them was required, rather than sending them rice, sending them electricity, and then that messaging was required for people on CC, which is Pakistan, China, Turkey, whatever you call it. Unfortunately, we are missing out on the game, and we are only giving the advantage. Now I'll tell you one more thing, Shriji. Every event also has a chart, right? Like based on the Israel Hamas conflict which happened on 7th of October, you make a specific chart for that event also. So just before I logged in with you, I made the chart for the attack that happened, and I was actually, in a way, I kept my fingers crossed that we were so lucky. Why? Because it is again Taurus Lagna. I'm talking about roughly 6:52 is when the blast happened. Okay.
Right, right.
And again, when you because a lot of people do Jyotish, and please make a chart for that, especially Chanakya Jyotisha students. Please make that chart. We'll be talking in detail in the class, but Taurus Lagna is there, and look at both the Lagna Lord. So whenever you look at the Lagna is the person who is basically attacking. So we would give that to the terrorist, and seventh house is what we are facing, and rather what we would do after that. So during 7th October, Lagna was basically Hamas, and 7th house was something that Israel would do after what Hamas has done, which was absolute Guru Chandala, and I had predicted at that point of time that Israel will completely decimate Hamas. Okay, now coming to this particular thing, it is Taurus Lagna, and like India's chart. Huh? But Taurus Lagna has got two Lagna lords. One is Moon and one is Venus. Moon is in the third house with a Marana Karaka Jupiter, and Venus is in the sixth house. Sixth house is the Marana Karaka of Venus with Surya, which is in debility. So, in simple term, what it means that hey, we are extremely lucky that by some luck that India had, the impact of the attack was almost minimal. And then this corroborates the point that there was almost 3,000 kgs of explosive, and probably because the raids happened and this guy's panicked, and in the moving car or whatever they are trying to do, suddenly an explosion happened, and it was not a planned attack. And believe me, how Jyotish beautifully works, that India actually was saved, Shri Ayarji and the viewers of PGurus, and this is pure magic, or pure blessings of Mahadev. Had it been as it was planned, which was to ensure the debility of Surya, which means there was a political assassination or some level of big attack in Delhi, which was being planned. It could have been a Rashtrapati Bhavan, it could have been Modi ji's residence, it could have been, obviously, Red Fort was the attack, there's no doubt about it. But there was a big attack, So we are very lucky. But now what's going to happen is Mangal is Maranakaraka in the seventh house with Mercury. So what we are going to do is that again that we have to fight a war. And the Prashna, or shall we say the Morata chart for that particular attack, is giving us the advice that hey, India, wake up, get out of the good boy image, don't worry about what the world will say. There are other Islamic countries which are calling out radicalism openly, dealing with it openly. Why can't you? वो किसका लिहाज कर रहे हो? What's stopping you from doing what you are supposed to do to ensure that your country would be safe? And here I want to point out, because I'm sure there will be some very refined people, who in the comment section would come up and say, Are, it's easy to say, but it is difficult to do. Are, it is democracy. Are, Modi ji knows everything. Are, these people know everything, that people everything. My simple logic to that is, there are 1,000 reasons for you not to do it. But there is only one reason to do it, and that is your motherland needs it. As simple as that.
Thank you so much. See, one thing we are all forgetting, viewers, and I'm going to do a monologue on this in next couple of days, and do watch that one. Waging a war imposes a huge cost on you and I as a common man, and this is not something small. In fact, after the 1971 successful war against Pakistan to liberate Bangladesh, you know, that was one of the trigger points because India got into so much of debt. See, you have to listen to Sam Manekshaw, where he said that I will have to take over the entire network of trains and roads so that I can move the troops to be ready. So there was a lot keeping up. And then in 1973, when OPEC got formed and they started raising prices like, man, India was just not ready. That's why you had those movies like Roti Kapda or Makan, Mehengai Mar Gayi, and all that stuff. So war imposes a huge economic cost, and we have to be mindful of that. Because the more I've been thinking about the first one also, why did India stop after 4 days? Because the 4 day thing that happened, it did not impose, at least as far as I can tell, any economic overhead on us. Like I said, I'm going to share the numbers also. I'm going to share the numbers of 62, 65, 71, 99, and 2025. 5 things. So, and if India wages a 4 week war, what is going to be the cost to the country? I'm going to put that thing, just take a look at it, because Thande Dimag se sochna hai, you cannot just like that go and do it. I like the fact that now India is attacking Pakistan, or I wouldn't say India is, but India is encouraging someone to attack Pakistan from its western border. This is exactly what was needed. You have internal conflicts, you have external conflicts now. Afghanistan feels pretty emboldened, and the story is that India has been given access to Bagram Air Base to do some technical help to Afghan fighters, especially in anti-defense air defense system. And this is something that US doesn't have from Afghanistan. US is trying to still get Bagram Air Base. Trump huffed and puffed. Afghanistan just ignored them. It's a very interesting situation that is coming up. Sir, I did a program in the morning yesterday, early morning for Indian time, but it's gone viral. See, what happened was India had ordered 6 Apache helicopters from United States in 2020. In 2024, 3 Apache helicopters got delivered sometime in the March timeframe. In November, the other 3 were supposed to have been delivered. This is Biden's administration, not to be confused with Trump administration, it's Biden's administration. In November, these 3 helicopters ready for delivery to India, take off from United States, then they land for refueling. They're not the plane, the helicopters are not flying, they are put in an AN aircraft, and that thing has to refuel. It refuels in United Kingdom. There it stays for 8 days. And then it flies back. All these 3 helicopters, these are actually painted in Indian helicopter colors with Indian flag. All that stuff is there in that video. Take a look at it. And it has gone back to United States. The manufacturer is Boeing. So, question that people are asking, Sarji, is were Indian defense units denied this because this attack helicopter is the best in the world today?
True. That's true.
So you take out ADS, you take out the flying power of Pakistan. Then what happens? They can still fly drones at you. They can still go about, moving all these, launch pads and things of that nature. So the helicopters will go and clean up. Nobody is going to go on the ground. I can tell you, viewers, the way the war is going to happen, nobody is going to set foot on ground. Only the Israelis are doing it. That's out of necessity. You look at all the other conflicts, everything is air. So, Sarji, give us a little bit of an idea how India's response is going to be. This time, for a change, I'm saying caution. And like I said, I'm going to show you the numbers, how much it costs to wage a war. India has nobody to help them. There is no printing press that India has that it can print its way through this problem. So a lot of things are up for grab. There are a lot of stuff. How do you recover from a post-war scenario and so on and so forth? Your thoughts on the cost of waging wars? Over to you.
No, the cost of waging war is obviously high, but the cost of not waging a war is higher, I would say.
There's a balance that has to be achieved. You're right.
Yeah, so I would say that India has, even the problem with India is we have won all the wars, but we have lost all the war on the negotiation table. So if you look at our history, be it 71, before that, Kargil also, if we would have shown a spine, there was no reason for us to not use our air power. just because of some pressure from America, from few countries, we lost so many soldiers. So there is something which is blocking India from forget punching above its weight, punching to its weight, and that is this good boy image. So there has to be some time in our history where we have to actually break these shackles, and we have to say that we deserve the big table, and we deserve the big table because we are not dependent on you and we can do things on our own. I think there has to be some sort of that moment which has to come in Indian history. I don't know whether that will be Modi ji, Yogi ji, or whoever is there, but India should get that, and that should happen from now to 2032, because we are already in the Mangal Dasha as far the Indian chart is concerned. As far as Narendra Bhai's chart is concerned, I'm talking about the swearing in chart. There also we have Mangal, which is saying that there is no option but war. So from all the angles, the war drums are there. Now that doesn't mean that we just have to, at every smallest of the moment, we have to start. In fact, I was a critique that the way we did it last time was too much of announcement. We don't need to do that. A prime minister, our Raksha Mantri, every day, 3 times a day, if we are saying that it's a matter of time before we will attack you, attack you, attack you, and then we attack, I think that surprise element goes away. Forget about the timing from a Jyotish perspective. Even in terms of the basic things that a military should do. So I would say that after December 5th is again a time which would be favorable for India if we have to launch an attack, not from now to December of 5th, because that would again help Pakistan. So, but I'm very clear that we have no option but to, at least for once, really show Pakistan its place. Now, how we are going to do it? Does it only have to be via direct war? Whether it has to be via Afghanistan? Whether it has to be through a tactical understanding, probably as a short-term gain with China, because America is going Pakistan is going very close to China, America. So it is a good time for us for a short-term arrangement. We say like dushman ka dushman dost, right? So we can use China if it is ready, but something has to be done. I'm also somebody who, in spite of being patient for so long, I feel that that line which I told, that in trying to look peaceful, we are looking harmless. And the more harmless we look, the more such attacks will happen. And here by attack, I'm not talking, Shri Ayarji, about the external attack. I'm talking about the half front within India, which is no longer a half front. Let's all face the fact. I go to Mumbai, I go to any place in India. You look at the demographic change, it's there on your face.
Yeah.
The amount of ease with which people, like, I don't know whether I should say this, but there are my Russian students, Ukrainian students, who all have Aadhaar cards. So how is it that it is so easy to get an Aadhaar card? Get an Emirates ID, fake Emirates ID in UAE? Impossible. You won't get it. So how is it that our internal security is so weak? Because we as Indians are putting economy above internal security, and that's an uncomfortable truth. We all get swayed away by we being a 5 trillion economy, 60 trillion economy. By 2047 we'll be this economy, that economy. Frankly speaking, nothing matters, because when you will go outside your home, you will still feel insecure. You will still feel, probably in your train, if somebody has kept a luggage, you will still feel afraid to stand close to it because it might be a bomb. You will still have an infrastructure which will suck. Why? Because there is so much of leakage, so much of liability whom we are funding, which actually speaking we don't need to, provided we have the political will. And again, everybody will say that it's easier said than done. Then there are two options. Either the politicians stop asking us for vote and tell us very clearly कि boss, मेरे से कुछ नहीं होने वाला, I'm not able to do anything, just vote me, I'm going to stay for 5 years in office, and after 6th year when I come back for re-election, I'll tell you that I told you that I can't do anything. No, they don't do that. They give us hope, right? So if they give us hope, Don't come back and say that we can't bring reforms. No, we can't change judiciary. No, we cannot, implement one nation, one election. We cannot have election after election. What is this going on? Our hard-earned taxpayers' money is going in this Ladli Behan, Ladla Bhai. Some Kejriwal will say that I need to give free internet. Some guy will say I need to give free bus ride. Then again, this West Bengal election will come. So suddenly the Ladli Behan of Bihar will become the Ladli Behan of Bihar, West Bengal. It is uncomfortable truth, but somebody needs to say this, and somebody has to wake up and say that, guys, India will break like this. And it will break because we have become too woke. We are not addressing the elephant exactly in the language it has to be addressed. And then too much of patience, I'm sorry, we are looking harmless. And that is my worry. So from now to 2032, if we are not going to change the good boy image, very, very tough words, but unfortunate to say, India will see a very, very bad time. And may I say that the landmass of India might not be the same that is there right now. I'm not able to hear you.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm so sorry, but there was traffic going outside, so I was. I'm just thinking loud, Kartik ji, and I have a question. See, you see how India stabilized Sri Lankan economy. It was going to go because the post-COVID, the tourism had completely dried up, and they tried some things and that did not work out. Organic farming and things of that nature. India stepped in and stabilized them, and they are okay. And the only reason India could do that with Sri Lanka, in my opinion, is because it is a Sanatani culture. Buddhism is as Sanatani as Hinduism is. My book, okay? People can disagree, agree with me. So that stability could be brought about. But if you take a look at Bangladesh or Pakistan, let's take Bangladesh for example. So India stops giving them electricity. India stops giving them rice. What's going to happen next? You still have a significant amount of Hindus. For anything, these people go and take the frustration out on Hindus. Are the Hindus armed? Can they give you bullet for bullet or 4 bullets for 1 bullet? No. Unfortunately, our dharma does not teach you to be that. And if you make them to do these things, afterwards you have started another genie out of the bottle. They can, if they are not happy, they'll turn it against you also. So there is this balancing act that needs to be done. As far as I know, and I've been asking people who are dealing with Bangladesh, what exactly is India's strategy there? What India wants to do is now, as far as electricity back dues are concerned, a sovereign agreement has been reached with the Bangladeshi government, although this Bangladeshi government has no legitimacy. So that also can be questioned. If somebody is not even the ruler and he signs an agreement, what is the validity of that? So at least to some extent, Adani has some hope of getting paid for the electricity given so far. As far as rice is concerned, there is absolutely nothing you're getting back in return. On the other hand, if these things were done in such a way that you say, okay, you want rice, we need a buffer zone inside your territory. That buffer zone is between the chicken's neck and where Ganga and Brahmaputra meet. There's a V. We want that as a buffer zone. What does buffer zone mean? We will bring in anybody that we want to and keep them there and we'll feed them. But they are not going to be anymore in India. See, what happens is you have this radicalized youth from Srinagar who are doctors, professionals, and now they want to indulge in these things. This is not just there. Kerala has it, Tamil Nadu has it. I'm sure other states will start having it too.
Every state.
Whenever you catch them, right, you need to first take out the oxygen. The oxygen taking out could be as simple as not even having internet in these buffer zones. Let them go back to Stone Age. Who cares? The point is, you're not breaking their hand or leg. You are depriving them of the very tools that they have used to misguide people. Same thing goes with all the madrasas caught with these kind of things. Take these mullahs, put them in these buffer zones where they cannot communicate anymore. See, that something like that has to happen, because that's exactly what Israel is doing. They have created a buffer zone between the northern part of Israel and the Litani River, which is about, I think, 50, 60 kilometers, full band, and says nobody is coming inside this, and we know who's coming in. That way, what happens is this near missile launches cannot happen. You have to go from a much longer distance to try it, and it's harder to fix that. So the same thing they're doing in Gaza also. I'm just wondering loud, if something like this India starts putting in place, how does it look from a Jyotishi point of view?
No, that is what I'm saying. In fact, if I can counter your Bangladesh comment,
Yes.
when I was in the conference, I said one thing very very which people resonated. I said that few years back Qatar had got hold of our few army people and had put them on death sentence, right? And they arm twisted us very nicely, right? I just ask everybody, do you think they would have done the same if they would have caught maybe Jews, Chinese, or Russians? उनको डेथ रो पे डाल के देखो. So what are we missing here? We are missing because people know we are good guys, right? And if I might be very very straight, people might feel not very good. But here we too are not able to save our own people in West Bengal here. What are we talking about Bangladesh? Within India, we are waiting for the courts to tell us to do some action, only then we will do. If I say more, then people will feel bad. But if India is not even able to save its own Indians within India, what big talks are we talking about? कि भाई हम बांग्लादेश में ये कर लेंगे वो कर लेंगे. अरे, if you wanted to do something for them, the current government is here for more than 11 years. कुछ करते. What have we done for our own Kashmiris, which are still languishing in Delhi? People should go and look at their वो जिस अवस्था में रह रहे, the homes and the small colonies in which they are staying. We are not even being able to repatriate them. What are we talking about? And all that is happening, Shriji, because we are in a denial. We are just not ready to accept the truth as it is. Even a Kashmir problem, we would say कि वो भटके हुए नौजवान है, ये है, वो है. Here there are other people who will say, boss, this is a problem of radicalism. Even the Middle Eastern nations will tell you, yet you will try to put this in a better way. कि no, let's not say the truth this way. इनकी आहत आ जाएगा, इनको बुरा लगेगा, इनको बुरा लगेगा. So somewhere down the line, I feel we as a nation really, really need to wake up. And if we don't wake up, then there will be smaller countries. Tomorrow Nepal will say, okay, boss, give us. So frankly speaking, what have we been doing with all the smaller nations around us? We have been buying their loyalty. We'll give you this, we'll give you that. Be with us, be good boys. So till the time, we are giving them things, they are saying, okay, fair enough. The moment China gives them more, they'll say, okay, guys, take away your rice, leave our air bases. We don't want you from tomorrow. So there is no strategic sort of relationship. There is nothing strategic because nobody fears you. And that is my problem. Bhai bin hoye na preet. As much as we want to be good people, but not harmless people. That is my limited point, and that is what I have been saying for last 2 years, that guys, we are calling this out on us. If we see a problem over there, if a Yogi ji can say very, very openly, if a Hemanta Biswa Sharma can say it openly, what stops the leadership right at the top to work towards it? If we know regularly that madrasas and there are problems, that there is a certain identified areas from where radicalism is coming, what stops us from taking action on it? An unapologetic action. There is nobody going to tell you anything, and if somebody is going to tell you anything, tell them to go take a walk. It is your country. You have to protect your country. As simple as that. No other country is going to listen to India. Even Bangladesh, doesn't listen to India, right? If it wants to do something, it tells us on the face that this is important for us. Rather, you give us Sheikh Hasina. She is convicted. How dare you keep her? They are talking to us in a language which is a very different language. So it's high time India needs to wake up, smell the coffee. If it changes, it is good for them, Shriji. If India doesn't change, then this is not the first attack. This is not the last attack. There will be attack after attack. We will play the game on X. That chhodenge nahi. There will be thumbnails wherein all our ministers and everybody will have red eyes on the thumbnail. But when it comes to the war, again there will be thousand reasons. We will say that the cost involved, you know they can go nuclear, all those things are there. But the more you delay, Shriji, it's a nation call. Putin could well have thought about this, right? Because Putin is not just fighting Ukraine, he is fighting NATO. So if Putin would have been thinking like us, frankly speaking, he was just waiting for his country to break ultimately, because there will be nuclear weapons everywhere outside his border, and NATO slowly would have encroached into Russia. So if he would be thinking like us, typically, कि यार वॉर का कॉस्ट कितना होगा, अरे यार वॉर करेंगे, व्हाट इफ इट गोज न्यूक्लियर, अरे आई एम तो फाइटिंग नेटो, इट इज नॉट जस्ट यूक्रेन, अरे आई एम तो फाइटिंग एक्चुअली अमेरिका, अरे आई एम फाइटिंग CIA, then तो that's why there is a stark difference between an Indian and a Russian. Let's face facts. We want to talk all the good things, let's talk about uncomfortable things also. So it's high time we wake up as a nation. We are in Mangal Dasha. Modi ji's chart is very clear. When I announced it 2014, I said that, whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, he has to fight a war. Please wake up and fight a war. And wars are always fought escalatory, and the objective of war, let me be more blunt, objective of war always has to be capture of land. Let me be very, very clear. That is the rule of Bhuloka. Putin is fighting a war in Ukraine for grabbing a certain landmass, and no power on earth can take that back from him. So when we also fight a war, we have to have a clear objective. If we want to fix Bangladesh, we have to fix it with a certain chicken neck or whatever that problem is. We got to solve it. With Pakistan, we need to ensure that we break them up into 4 pieces. So and we should have been done on 71 itself, but as I told you, we always lose the war in the negotiation table, and more so now in terms of the information warfare. So this is my limited point, Shriji. I also understand that we cannot fight a war on a daily basis, but whenever we fight, forget about the dates and all. I would prefer, if it is after December 5th, whenever we fight, we have to fight it and bring it to a logical conclusion. And there is no point in trying to hunt for the terrorist. Frankly speaking, you kill 10, they have 20 to recruit. You kill 20, they have 2 million. You kill 2 million, they have 20 million. We need to focus on the tap. And during Operation Sindoor, I tweeted one thing, that take a sankalp from gate number 4 of Kashi Vishwanath and hit the gate number 4 in Rawalpindi.
A lot to ponder about. Viewers, always I request you to do this one little thing, and that is to like this program as soon as it starts. And if you don't like the content, feel free to put it by way of comment saying that I did not like this content because of 1, 2, 3. We have no problem dealing with criticism. The reason you have to like it, because in our perception, the virality is severely getting impaired, because we can't fight with thousands of bots which get unleashed to try and limit our virality. There's nothing we can do about it. So this is the one thing that you can do to counter, because then the system will say, wait a minute, if so many people are liking it, there must be something good about it too. At least we have a chance, is all I'm trying to say. And before we go to questions, I'd like to introduce a trailer that we are going to release this thing. It's a 4-episode series, viewers, and just take a quick look.
Who was Parashurama, who led a life of devotion, dedication, and daring? Why did he take birth on the earth? Was it to eradicate corrupt Kshatriya rulers who had become tyrannical and oppressive, or was it to bestow daya for the needy?
So please give us a big encouragement. We want that encouragement because these kind of movies based on itihasa are time consuming, and we have to really I mean, the editing phase is just grueling because we want to get everything right as close as possible. So please encourage us by watching it and sharing it with your friends and family. Let's take a quick look at the questions now. First question from Jupiter Ganapati. Do planetary influences indicate judicial reforms in Bharat become because without judicial reforms we cannot improve?
Absolutely. See, I have been talking about this, that see, in every adversity there is opportunity, right? So if you look at Modi ji's swearing in chart, there are two Lagna lords because it is a Scorpio ascendant. And one of the Lagna lord Mangal is going into the 6th house, extremely well placed. The other Lagna lord Ketu is going into the 11th house. Now, this both houses are houses where you can either fall down, or if you rise up, then the world is going to remember you for decades, right? So Lagnesh in the 6th house. 6th house is the house of enemy. When Lagna Lord is in the 6th house, it is basically telling Modi ji that, hey Modi ji, this is the term where you have to go after your enemies, internal and external. I had used this thing, internal and external. So internal is that half front war, and half front war is not just related to a particular community, frankly speaking. There are many woke liberals and this leftist mindset, the urban Naxals, and to a large extent the judicial reforms also, because the way things are, and I always say that Modi ji has to decide, if judiciary is a problem in bringing reforms, then bring in judicial reforms and then bring the other reforms. If you I would go one step ahead. If there is a requirement for an emergency, if Indira Gandhi could do it, and if that isn't good for India, then by the grace of Mahadev, do what is required. But whether the planetary indicates, the answer is straight yes. In fact, it's a great favor that Modi ji could do.
Next one, please. Krishna Upadhyay wants to know: do you think oil has been used as a weapon against India? Of course. What do you think Qatar tried to do? Oil, natural gas. What do you think Qatar tried to do after that Nupur Sharma incident?
Absolutely.
Viewers, Krishna, one second. I did a monologue about what is the foot soldier composition in the armies of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. Watch that monologue. It's very educational. Who is the guy on the ground fighting it? Just take a look at the nationality. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, the answer is yes and no. See, I would say the countries, which, want to be manipulated, or people who can come into pressure, they will always come into pressure. It's not just India that needs oil, right? But there are some countries whom you cannot say certain things because they know the answer that will be given. And there are certain things, and I'll give you two examples about this because it's a nice nimitta that is thinking. I tweeted, just few hours back about one picture, which stayed with me for so many years. And that was about, when that farms protest happened, if you remember, Shriji, where the flag was put of the Khalistanis few years back.
On that foot. Yeah.
And then there was one photo of, there is this guy called Shahrukh, who has got his gun pointing to the soldier, right?
Right.
And that sort of stayed with me, that how come we are such a soft state. And I'll give you another example. When I was in Somnath, about a year and a half back, and I had one Russian student telling me that, Guruji, Putin is actually dead, and this Putin is actually his dummy and all those things. And I smiled and I said that, listen, let's do a simple litmus test. And that time this Wagner thing had happened, Shriji. You remember that there was this guy, who had actually gone berserk, and he was coming towards Moscow. And I told him that it's a simple litmus test. I told, forget Jyotish. If Putin is alive, this guy won't be alive, beyond a month. And we were in Somnath where he was actually put to rest. So I told, but this Shahrukh became a hero. So what I mean to say that we always have 1,000 reasons not to do. अरे कार्तिक जी उस वक्त ये करते तो CIA का बड़ा प्लान था. Oh, if you would have done this during Shine Bagh, CIA or ISI had a bigger plan. Oh, if you would have done that, they had a bigger plan. So I say that ना करने के लिए तो आपके पास 1,000 बहाने हैं. कुछ करने के लिए सिर्फ एक बहाना है कि भाई भारत माँ को वो जरूरत है. And sometimes you don't do it at that point of time. You do it after 3 months, you do it after 6 months. There are a lot of things that Israel does after certain time. Sometimes you can't do it on the spot. But they give the message that, dude, you put a gun on a guy, who represents India, you will face the music. So these are the small things I'm talking about. So this answer which you're talking about, oil is needed by many nations. There are very few oil producing nations. But not every nation can be done. India, if it wakes up, that there will be nobody who would be able to manipulate us on oil.
Next one, please. Ashish Hegde wants to know, Kartik ji, will India's intelligence agencies and homeland security be able to come out on top against internal plots by the adversaries?
See, India is a democracy. All said and done, it all depends on what the man at the top wants, right? So they are also as good or as bad to be. They'll obviously do their work, basic work thing. But today, if you tell an intelligence guy, home security guy, that boss, I need this guy, within a month, you tell me what you guys want, what expenses, what budgets you want it approved, they'll do that for you. But then every action has a repercussion, right? So whether our political leadership is ready to actually take that repercussion or take things all out is important things. Generally, the internal securities, the raw ISI, this all are a mix of Rahu and Ketu. The internal security is Ketu, external is the espionage part is Rahu. So I'm sure they are capable. We are a very capable agency. The only difference is how much budgets we have. See, we have to understand that Pakistan doesn't have that much money compared to India. But when it comes to their army and ISI and other things, they have much more money than what RAW has. Let us accept that uncomfortable truth. The amount of opium money, the amount of drugs money, the amount of money that probably even a corps commander would have, is unthinkable. So those are all few things. We need to increase the budgets and we need to give them clear go.
Jyotishmati Bhatt wants to know, Namaste, what is the impact of transit of Jupiter from Gemini to Cancer, and is it retrograded?
So now see the simple logic. When it was in Gemini, it was in Maranakaraka for Pakistan. So I was saying that, good time to attack Pakistan. Now it is in the third house of India because India is Taurus Lagna. So it is in Maranakaraka for India. So good time for Pakistan to do war with India. But not a good time for India at this point of time to have a war with Pakistan. It will retrograde and go back to Gemini. So you got the logic part right. It will go into Gemini on 5th of December. And that is exactly what I have been saying. Be patient. If at all we have to do, whatever it is, a small action, big action, whatever, swift action, whatever it is. But have patience till at least 4th of December, and post 4th of December, when Jupiter again goes into Gemini, it will be in Maranakaraka for Pakistan. That is a good time to do what needs to be done.
Next one from Manoj. Already major border areas under major demographic changes. Example, Kerala, West Bengal, Assam, Bihar. Now they are going to non-BJP states. Why non-BJP states are allowing it, sir? Votes.
It's not just non-BJP. See, we have written Bihar is very much BJP. Assam is very much BJP. You look at Mumbai, for that matter, Maharashtra.
Yeah.
I was there 6 months back, and I'm somebody who has stayed in Ghatkopar for a long time, which is in Mumbai. And I was absolutely shocked to see the demographic change just in 2 years, because before that also I keep going, but this time I stayed a longer, so I walked into the malls, I went around a little. It is right there for you to see. And my problem is, the non-Indians which are there, the Bangladeshis, Rohingyas, something seriously needs to be done. Just 2 days or 3 days back, there was a railway station in, I think, Delhi, which was completely overtaken. In Mumbai trains, if you see, the amount of illegal constructions which is there everywhere. You look at even Goa, for that matter. You go to the beaches of Goa 5 years back or 2 years back, and you go now. You go to Juhu Beach of Bombay. You go to anywhere. So my problem is, let's not take it as a BJP, non-BJP. It's happening right in every BJP state also, and it's happening everywhere in India. Somewhere may be open, for that matter, West Bengal, Kerala. May I say, they are almost gone. They are almost gone. If we seriously don't do, some radical reforms, radical actions, I'm sorry to say, we have already lost those states. They are just there in our map, but technically we are losing out.
For Christians in Nigeria, US wants to wage war on Nigeria in support of Christians. What is India doing for Hindus in Bangladesh?
Nothing. This is not an era of war. And this is exactly what I said. That there are people, you have one Jew, if he is even bruised or injured, whoever has pushed that Jew would know that his days are counted. Let's be
Target
very, very
pointed.
open about it.
Yeah.
हाँ, उसको कहीं ना कहीं से ढूंढेंगे, boss. You come out of your hole and we are waiting for you. And that guy has got fear. You tell me openly, with a hand in your heart. I know a lot of people might not like the way I talk, but the fact of the matter is somebody has to say the truth as it is. You do anything to an Indian, who is fearful? Unfortunately, nobody. Right? You do that to a Russian, you do that to Chinese. Norway was talking about China too much. What did China do to Norway? There are many, many such examples. Just for one, this Christians of Nigeria, just for 10 Jews, Netanyahu will send a full battalion to ensure those 10 Jews are alive. They do that. This is what exactly I had said in my thing, that, for 11 years, you could have well brought every Hindu in Bangladesh into India. You have fought tooth and nail with the Supreme Court. If not, bring an ordinance. There are many ways to do. But if you want to give a reason, there will be 1,000 reasons. In the comment section also you will see, there will be 1,000 reasons. कि अरे ये नहीं कर सकते because judiciary will not allow, अरे ये नहीं कर सकते because our babus will not allow. When nothing can be done and then nothing can be done, then why the hell are we having the government? Why are we spending so much on elections then? Just build infrastructure and let people be happy. Whenever it is supposed to break, India will break. If nobody can do anything.
Next one, please. Ravichandra Rao wants to know, what will be the precursor to World War III? It's already there. It does happen. Which currency is expected to dominate post WW3?
See, we are already in a phase where things are building up towards World War, right? And I've said this before also, we are talking about 2029 to 2032 as a very, very important phase of world where a lot of dynamics will be changed. And to a large extent, I have been pushing for this India to change the mindset, not just for now, because there is going to be a time when India doesn't just have to, wake up, but India will no longer be in a situation where it will be able to keep their 2 feet in 2 boats. It will have to choose a camp. Apart from Shatru Bodh, Mitra Bodh is also important. So it will be there, and to be very frank, we are seeing a situation where a weaker India or a weaker US is not going to be good for us. And unfortunately, America is getting weaker, China is getting stronger. So all those people who are currently in a phase where, because they don't like Trump and are praying that America becomes weaker, please don't do that, because all said and done, a Trump is still better to deal with than a Chinese.
Thank you so much, sir. And Jyotishmati ji, thank you so much for your super sticker. That brings us to a close of today's program. Kartik ji, we hope that next fortnight, 2 weeks from now, you'll be again available to share your wisdom, sir. Thank you so much again. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.